So, good morning everyone. I'm just up on a roof installing a solar panel. So what I've done, I don't use any sort of solar brackets, I just use some Ali angle, same I use for my van and all sorts. CT1, that stuff there. And then tech screws, roofing screws. There goes the bike, just from Screwfix, tech screws, and put in with an impact driver. And there's 3 along either side, and they just screw directly into the roof. With obviously, like I say, sealant, not in the solar panel because it doesn't really matter, but sealant into the roof, and then these are self-sealing, as you can see, this little rubber gasket around them. So I may start filming more, but I'm going to film this entire electrical system. I just wanted to say, got this idea to film this little job because I never know, like I said, I never normally do these, but I got the idea from like Unimpressed Jeff, good old Unimpressed Jeff. It's good to meet you at the Stratford again. It's a good old laugh. But yeah, I watched his videos and he's always doing clients, and I was like, yeah, it seems quite fun. Seeing as I haven't got a van to film, might as well film this. I'm going to see a van tonight there, so that's interesting. I might update you in this video. Anyway, I'm at the bottom of the drive now, so I'll catch you once I'm doing some more work. So hello everyone, last few bits have just arrived. I'm about to go back up, just down at mine. So I've taken a leaf out of Jeff's book. Jeff is very popular in this video by getting these MIDI Mega fuse boxes. So you've got your main positive coming in through this little bit here, and it goes onto there. Then you've got a Mega fuse, I believe it's called, and then you've got 4 MIDI fuses if you need them. So basically this is a positive fused bus bar, so it saves you adding separate fuses or trip switches like I've done in the past. And I've got 1 negative bus bar which is already up there, and then instead of ordering, I have done 1 MIDI fuse thing before for a split charge, and instead of ordering 1 and every single one you need, I've ordered an assortment of Mega and MIDI fuses. So for an example, you get this, and this bolts in between the 2, as you can see, and then that's fused. If that goes over 175 amps with this particular fuse, like I said, I've got a whole assortment there, then that will trip. So basically you rate that to onto your cable. So I've got 35mm cable, which is rated at, I need to check, I'm not going to do this just like when I'm telling you, but I think it's rated at something around 200 amps, so I'll put around a 200 amp fuse in, just below of course, because for just leeway and stuff. I have a whole 30-meter reel of 0.5mm cable. Now that might seem like nothing, but at the end of the day, some USBs and some LED lights are nothing, and I think it's rated at 11 amps, so that's dual core cable. And then for the first time I took an order from 12 Volt Planet because of Will's whereabouts actually. I saw his, and then I had a look on their website, and I thought that looks pretty good because I get my solar stuff from Bimble Solar, my batteries from Alpha Batteries, but I've always got my cables from Bimble Solar before, but they're not great, if I'm honest, because they only do red and black for inverters, and then they do black only for solar cables, so when you run them through your roof you don't know which is which. And then for the battery cable they only do orange, so it's very random. So I've just stuck with the good old black and red. This is very nicely packaged. First impressions. Oh, I also ordered lugs from them, as you can see. I ordered an assortment of lugs for the same reason, so I don't have to be faffing around while I'm there trying to plan out someone's electrical system going, do I need that? Am I going to need that? Is this the right size? Just get an assortment, but it didn't do the bigger sizes, so I got some bigger ones for this specific job. And then there's 35mm cable, 25mm cable and 16mm cable, all in pairs for the inverter, solar and main battery cables to the fuse box and bus bar, etc. So exciting stuff. So I'm not going to unbox all this because this is very nicely packaged, very first experiences, and go back up to the van and I'll see you there. So here we are everyone, ignoring that. there's batteries, two 115s. I think there's writing on the other side. Yeah, same ones I got for my last one. They go out of stock on Alpha batteries so often because they are 135 quid for 115 amp hours. They are the best batteries in my mind for the price. So we got two 30 amp hours there, and then we got a, like I said, this MIDI fuse box, which is awesome. And like I said, I've got the assortment of bits, and then this is a 300 amp M8 stud bus bar. So yeah, lots and lots of space there. And then we've got your normal fuse box. So this would come off, well, this way. So it'd come off your positive off one of these fuse ones. I know it's a fuse box, but there's no harm in fusing that. So it'd go into there, and then it would come into there, and then here's the charge controller. So this is all going to be mounted like in that area there once there's a panel on there. So the positive will come up, go into there, negative will come up, go into there. There will be an isolator switch in the positive line as well, just to shut everything off as and when you want. So yeah, then you've got the charge controller. So the solar cables are going to come down through the roof, down, and into the charge controller, which is going to be sat about there. So it's there, and then the inverter is going to be sat about in the middle of there, and that will go obviously to the fuse box and to the bus bar, same as the charge controller and the fuse box. So pretty simple, using what's some of my favourite gear, just the Airpever and Energy Expedition. Like I said, first time ordered from 12 Volt Planet, and it was very top notch, high quality. So I've got 35mm cable to go between the batteries and to the isolator switch, which still hasn't come, and then to the MIDI Mega fuse box, and that's going to be rated at 225 amps because the cable is rated at 240, and when I add all these together it comes to no more than 225. And then coming off there, I'm going to use 25mm cable to go to the inverter, which is rated at 170 amps. But the inverter, I just did a quick calculation, is never going to go over 125. The biggest MIDI fuse I have is 125 amps, and like I said, they're not going to be maxing this out. So that is staying well under the cable rating, well under their usage, and the only thing that's going to happen is the fuse may blow too early. But that's worse than the van catching fire. So I'm going to put 125 amp fuse in there, and then we've got a 50 amp fuse for the inverter, for the charge controller, because they use, they recommend 1 to 1.5 times the value of the charge controller's rating that the fuse should be rated at. And then they're literally only going to be, there's no 12 volt sockets, it's literally just USBs and lights. So a 30 amp fuse in there is perfect for that, and I'll just use some 6mm cable coming out of there and into there because I've got loads of it. And everything obviously is just going to go back to the neg bus bar. So hello everyone, I'm back again on the Transit, and back up on the roof, and I have done a little bit inside. I ran the cables like I said, but I didn't film that bit. But here, so instead of using the silly little gland boxes everyone does, I did use them once on my mum's van, and ever since then I have never used them. Which is just a normal junction box. They provide you with different grommets for different sized cables. You can get different sized ones. The one I got for my Citroen was actually tiny. I could barely fit 6mm cable through. So I got a bigger one this time, and I will put the link to this one in the description so you guys can buy it. Because these are really good. So you just drill a hole in the bottom. They come with a little chock block because they're for junction, like I said. But obviously we don't want it for that. So you drill a hole in the bottom, and then you glue that. Well, look, both your cables go through there. And same, I've got 2 holes in the roof. Mainly because 2 holes that way fits the shape of the box, as you can see, rather than one like hole saw size. So that's what I choose to do. And I'll whack a load of sealant all around that. But the reason I do these boxes instead is because if you've got a glam box and you glue it down, and plus they're huge, so it wouldn't really fit here where I want it. But the benefit of using this is that if you ever wanted to change your panel, remove the cables, adjust the cables, it has this little screw-on lid, and it's IP68, so it's very waterproof, because obviously it's designed to be outside. And you just put the 4 screws in there, which it provides you with, as you can see here. And yeah, you can get to it, you can alter the cables, you can take them out if you need to. But with the other ones, once they're in, they're pretty much in forever. So I prefer to use these. But yeah, take your personal preference, but this is my personal preference. And as you can see, it's all the sealant's gone off. It was a couple of days ago now. And I'm going to be using the same CT1 stuff to glue this down. So firstly, you want to, this is one-handed filming again. You want to get the cables through there, like so. And make sure that cable's not in the way. And that wants to be glued down. And obviously those want to go through the little gland things, which it's provided with the smallest ones, which is good because that's 6mm. And then I've got a load of MC4s in there, and I'll crimp an MC4 on the end after putting it through there, of course, not before. And then that will literally just connect into there, and the negative will connect into there, that negative there, and then it will be super tidy, well out the way. So this is what I'm using. I got inspiration from my neighbour. When I saw he had a whole box or bag of MC4s, I was like, right, I'm doing that. It saves, like, if you made a mistake, these connectors, you can't take them back apart. Once they're crimped and put back together, that's it, they're together. So a box means you're good for wrong, and if you ever, you know, miscalculated or something like that, I've just got a load. I've started doing that with a lot of things because I do it quite often now, just bulk buying everything. Some wire cutters, wire strippers and crimpers with, there is somewhere in here, an MC4 end for them rather than a normal crimping end. So my step 1 is going to be thread that through there, cut it to the right length and crimp the MC4s on. Just so you know, I'm sure you already know, but if you have a look closely at here, you've got some thin ones like that one and some fat ones like that one. Those two. The fat one goes in the skinny plastic bit, and the skinny metal bit goes in the fat plastic bit. It's backwards. Basically, as long as you remember that it's backwards, then you'll be good to go. Which I almost did wrong the first time I ever did them. But yeah, so I'm going to come back to you once I've threaded that through there, cut it to the right length and crimp the connectors on. So the cool thing about these crimps, when you get the MC4 version, because obviously you can just use pliers to close like that sort of shape there, but the advantage of using these is that when you push it together, if you've got the open end there, it nicely folds them in together and creates a really nice seal. So here, if you have a look, there you go, really nicely wrapped round and dug into the cable. And then when oh yeah, because it also has a little bump at the bottom, as you can see, so it literally turns it round into the cable, so that's not coming off now. And then you get the female bit here that I've got here, and you put that on there, clip that on, and then push those two together and it'll create a nice water seal. So there we are. I've connected this end. Sorry it's shaky, but I haven't yet connected that end because the cables are still not connected to the charge controller. So when I'm ready, I'll just connect that to that and it'll be done. But as you can see, I've screwed the top on, sealed it down. As long as there's sealant around the holes, it's also an adhesive, so you don't have to create extra holes to screw it down. I never did because the cables sort of hold it in place, because the cables aren't going anywhere. It's mainly just to seal it and keep the box in one place. Sorry it was shaky then, I was using one hand while I was holding other things. But as you can see, solar cables come down there, down, and the charge controller is going to sit there like I said earlier. Here's going to be a little switchboard with the MT50 for the EP-Ever controllers. It's going to sit there, and then there's a switch for the kitchen lights and also the bed ceiling light, reading light, 2 lights here as you come in, switched by a switch over there. Here there's some little cables here which are the kitchen lights themselves, so they're just little down lights on the countertop. And yeah, and then we vapor buried it, and the guy I'm working with, he's going to kit it all out, and once he's almost there and got most of the panelling in, I'm going to come back in and mount everything, because obviously I need some wall to mount the electrics to. I've got another solar job. Yeah, doing quite a lot of solar things at the moment, but I love it, honestly. If any of you need help, well, unless you can drive to me in the Oxfordshire area, then yeah, a bit scary. But I've got my driving test soon, so we'll see about that. Anyway, Hope you're all good. And in fact, this is going to be part 1. So if you like the video, drop the video a like up, drop the video a like, drop a comment down below if you need work, and you never know, I might be able to drive, or you can drive to me, and drop me an email, more like, links in the description as well, and subscribe and hit the bell icon. Sorry, I'm terrible at doing this outro. This is all filmed on my phone as well, I think I mentioned. Anyway, see you in the next one.